I'll let you know before you try to go. Now this is my own show. Not a script or flip could make me stop, so just behave. I mean, there's no escape. Let's hope you make that drop, because you really don't want to take me off. And oh, what fun. I will tell you what to do and you won't get it done. And oh, don't run. You'll find your nightmare here has only just begun. Welcome to my horror show. Now it's starting 3D. Oh, I bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. Are you reading the walls? Did you get my clues? There's a debt to repay for now. You'll do.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Welcome, listeners, to another podcast with myself, Nick, and my co-host, Joe.
Hello, everyone.
Comedy Horrors is back again to bring you your weekly slice of movie review and music and chat entertainment. As usual, we'll be going through our features and our reviews, and at any point, if you feel like you need to turn off, don't, because just around the corner is some more gold. So before we go any further, let me just find out how my esteemed colleague Joseph is today. Talk to me.
I'm all right. Don't know if you've noticed, but I've got a cap on at the minute. And there's a reason for this. I was just chilling the other day, watching TV, stroking your head, as you do.
You're often stroking your head, aren't you, Joe?
Not that head, the head at the top.
Sure,
The one on top of my shoulders.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, so I'm stroking my head because, my hair's nice and short now. Last week I shaved it off and there's loads of clumps. So there's parts of the hair that's long, parts that's short. So after this recording, I'm going to go skinhead.
It's kind of like animals, and Ricky Gervais talks about if you stroke a spider, it can go bald. Do you have some kind of DNA with spiders as well as baboons, Joe?
Brilliant. So it's not just baboons, it's spiders as well now. No, I've not got 8 legs, 6 legs. I'm 2 legs.
But why
So-
the clumps?
Because obviously when I shaved it last week, I didn't do a proper job.
It looks pretty smooth to me, Joe.
I'm not taking the hat off.
So what have you been up to this week, Joe?
One of my friends texted me. They just listened to one of our episodes and she said, it made her chuckle. She says, you're so sensitive about your age. Is this true?
Me?
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm absolutely fine with my age. I think I don't look a day over 30. I'm in 30s. That's the main thing.
If you want my advice, I would clean that mirror. I said to my friend, I would ask you because you've come across very, very sensitive about your age. I mean, I said to her, you are in your mid-40s. I don't know if that happens when you get to 40.
Back off. Back off right now. Anyone would be sensitive if you put them in their 40s when they're under 30. Well, 30s.
Oh, it's under 30 now, is it?
Guys, 30s. That's the cutoff. Yeah.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
Not a great deal. We've been trying to look for a puppy online, which has
Aw.
been consuming a lot of our time. And it's just impossible to do it. I don't know if anyone else has had this problem, but you go onto a well-known website for finding puppies and you find a puppy that you want and it says all reserved, all gone. And the listings go live for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And before you know it, they're all reserved and yet the listings remain. So we're getting increasingly frustrated searching for these puppies, thinking we found our future new family member and just getting completely shunned by the fact that they've all been sold. In addition to that, people are hiking up the prices massively, which I think might be down to the coronavirus link. And that to me as well is just not cool.
Yeah, people shouldn't be doing that. And what kind of puppy are you looking for?
Well, it's a toss-up between a dachshund,
Okay.
which I'm slightly against because they can't jump on the sofa and you have to get them a little step or you have to lift them, which does seem like a lot of effort, and it makes me think that the dog itself is a bit lazy. Making excuses for having a long body, I don't think that's going to wash in my house. And the other option is a retriever.
Very big dog. Would you let the dog sleep on the bed with you?
I don't know where you're trying to lead me. Are you trying
No,
to-
it's nothing bad. It's some people are really against it. Like when my dog was alive, he used to just sleep just on the end of the bed on the top of the covers.
Yeah, I think we'll pretty much give him free reign of the house. Yeah, as long as he's
Nice.
potty trained and stuff. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on this endeavour. But I probably am going to be 40 by the time I find one, if I'm honest.
I'll tell you something, mate. Potty trained. I'll tell you something. You'll be an expert in cleaning shite and piss.
Well, I've already said to the missus, to be fair, that that's not going to be one of my duties, is picking up the...
Whoa. So when you go for a walk with a dog and the dog decides to have a turd, you're just going to leave it?
No, I'll make sure that my missus is on hand with a poo bag and she'll pick it up.
But what if she's not available to take the dog for a walk and the dog needs, what are you going to do? Let it cross its legs and hold it in until you get home and let it do it in the garden and then let your missus go outside and clean it up when she's available?
I might see if one of my neighbours will come with me.
Wow. I mean, I can show you how to use a baggie if you want, how it works, the system and all that.
Oh, I know the system, but I just don't like the idea of picking up something that's warm in a bag and then carrying it around. Plus, what must the dog think of the human being? Just thinking, what are you doing with that? That's mine. Leave it. And just people have to pick it up. They're like, that is so bizarre to me. Ooh, I have got some news for you.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard they're remaking the Goonies?
Oh, are they?
Yes. But instead of using kids, they're going to use a group of primates to play the Goonies.
Okay. I don't really know what to make of that, really. You seem excited about it.
Do you know what they're calling it?
I've no idea.
The Baboonies. And you, I'm sure, will be first in line, my friend. What do you think of that as a concept?
How long did it take you to think that up?
Just came to me. Do you think we should pitch that one to Spielberg?
I'm a bit worried about your health here because you've been laughing that much that you're going to keel over. You all right there?
I'm okay. But that was very funny.
Yeah, the baboonies.
Anyway, shall we crack on, Joe, with today's show?
All right, let's crack on.
So let's just jump straight into the movie The Blair Witch Project. Released in 1999 and directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, two Florida film graduates who'd never made a feature before, this original and groundbreaking film introduces its audience to the found footage of three amateur filmmakers. In 1994, in October, Heather, Mike and Josh ventured into the vast Black Hills forest near Burkittsville in Maryland, USA, and never came out. A year later, their footage was found. They had gone in search of the Blair Witch, a local legend feared by the townsfolk and the subject of many a tall tale. The three students record their journey, first to capture and document evidence to support the legend, and then to film their own struggle to survive and escape the dreaded Blair Witch. Here's a trailer, everyone. Enjoy.
I just want to apologize to Mike's mom and Josh's mom and my mom. I am so sorry, because it is my fault, because it was my project.
The search of the three missing Montgomery College students continues in Frederick County tonight.
10 days and thousands of man-hours have been unable to produce any clues.
We have a few leads, a few other options we want to take advantage of, and just try to put together some pieces to this puzzle.
Do you believe the occult may be involved in the disappearance of your son?
I'm so scared.
So, let's dive in, Joe. What are you saying? What do you think of the trailer?
I think the trailer's probably the best part of the film.
Ooh, very, very lackluster response. Was not expecting that. I don't think the trailer's all that. I think the trailer's actually pretty limiting, but it's definitely playing on the fact that the movie is relying on its found footage aspect, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I was bored. I mean, I just thought it was boring and drawn out. I just thought, where's this going? I thought it was too drawn out. And you mentioned to me when we were talking about this film briefly before we started the record, that the original filming was around 19 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? What they've put out there is too long?
You think the 1.5 hours that we currently have is too long?
I'd say 30 minutes would be too long.
Oh, wow. Well, I think the first release that they actually put out there was 2.5 hours long. And then they had to edit it down to what we've got now. And they used a lot of those outtakes for the marketing bits and pieces. But so your initial thoughts on the movie are seemingly not great.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good concept. I mean, there's nothing been done before like that where it's filmed from the perspective of the actors in the film, which is quite cool. You know, it's got a lot of potential. I think when you start watching it, you're like, oh, what's going to go? Man, it's just a bit boring, really.
It's one of the first movies that used the whole found footage concept. This has been done a few times before, but not that much. My question was going to be to you, is this the best found footage movie, or do you think there's better out there?
I don't really know that many. I think the other one, When I was watching it, the other one that sprung to mind was Paranormal Activity.
And do you think that's superior to Blair Witch?
I think that's shite as well.
But better than Blair Witch or not?
It's been a long time since I've seen Paranormal, but I just thought that was overrated. I remember I went to the cinema to see it, and I was outraged. I could have spent that money on a KFC instead of watching shite, but still.
So you're not a big fan of Paranormal Activity either. Is there any found footage movies that you do like, out of interest?
Them two have put me off them, I think. Maybe I need to give another one a watch, and maybe it'll sway my opinion.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after the show. A few recommendations I can throw your way.
Nice.
We recently covered in a previous episode another movie centering around a mythical figure and an urban legend in the form of Candyman. The key difference being is that's more of a theatrical movie, and also we don't actually see the villain in the Blair Witch Project, which I think is actually a masterstroke in making it a lot more powerful as a movie. It's actually a happy accident that you never got to see the witch. It was supposed to be captured on film. There's actually a moment you hear Heather shouting, "Oh my God, what the is that?" And at that point, the cameraman should have panned to the left and you would have seen a glimpse of a womanly figure with a shawl on and stuff. But because he didn't do it, they didn't refilm it. That never obviously made it into the final cut. But I think that actually the imagination is a lot more powerful than being shown something on the screen. Think about what happened with Jaws, how powerful that was. Most of Jaws and the shark was suggested by camera movement and obviously that amazing score by John Williams. This does a similar thing, screaming. It's not quite as pleasant to listen to as John Williams' score, but you get my point.
I think, like you were saying there about the witch not being in there, I think that's quite a good thing because the way I took the film is there was nothing else there. I think it was more a case of they all just went a bit mental and killed each other.
Well, there is actually theories out there that say that the two guys took Heather out, and Heather was the ex-girlfriend of Josh in an early draft, and that the two guys took her out there and actually murdered her and then sort of made up the rest, because obviously you never see anyone die, do you? You never see any deaths.
No.
So it's all kind of suggested. And who knows, whoever edited the film together, once they found that footage and wherever they found it, they could have edited that to make it look like there was the mythical creature. It's a perfect alibi if you think about it.
Yeah, definitely. It was all right. I mean, I am shocked that it's made so much money. Don't know how it did that. I honestly have no idea.
Well, I have an idea how they did it.
Go on then.
It was the perfect storm of an idea, a performance, marketing, word of mouth, and it became an absolute phenomenon.
It made 240 million at the box office, which is mental, isn't it?
Well, it is mental considering it only cost 60 grand to make. I mean, that is phenomenal. This is one of the first movies, again, that ever used large-scale viral marketing. And you got to remember, back in the day when this came out, all this kind of stuff had never been done before. The filmmakers created a website a year before the release of the movie, based all upon the case of the missing kids, the mythology of the Blair Witch, which is extremely clever. They also persuaded IMDb to list the cast at the time as missing, presumed dead in their status, which again is very, very clever because people will look for credibility and they go to a trusted source and they go along with the story. What harm's been done?
I remember the time when it came out, there was a lot of buzz around this film. And I bought it, I watched it, and
yeah, they also released a documentary as well, like a straight documentary that went out on the Sci-Fi Channel called The Curse of the Blair Witch, which further used the outtakes from that 19 hours that was obviously edited down. They included outtakes, interviews with the teachers of the students, photos of the students kind of prepping so you could see that they were actually students of film. And it just made it such a buzz subject. So by the time it came out, people of our age back then absolutely were all over it because internet was just becoming cool. People started to look things up.
Were you all over it?
I was all over it, absolutely. I got an early pirate copy on the VHS from a mate of mine. It was almost like a rite of passage. I remember it so well. People would be talking about it. Have you seen Blair Witch yet? Have you seen Blair Witch? It was a big deal in social circles of people that were fans of horror and fans of movies in general. It was a big deal.
Because they've done Blair Witch 2, haven't they, and all that, but how does it go on?
We often talk about sequels and remakes and stuff. Did you see the remake in 2016 of this?
No. If I don't enjoy the original, what's the point in watching a remake? There's no point, is there? Let's be honest.
I think that sometimes there is, to be honest, mate. Sometimes open your eyes to new visions. I will not recommend Blair Witch the remake. That was less than decent. And the sequels as well, no point. No point. Leave it as it is, because the originality of the whole thing was what made it so appealing.
I'll give it credit where credit's due. Sure, I mean, it's clever what they did with the website a year before and listing the cast as actual missing persons. That's all really cool. But it was just, I think they could have moved things on a bit quicker in the film. I think they could have condensed that in an hour.
Did you think that the mixture between colour footage and black and white added anything to it? Did it make it more frightening?
Yeah, I thought it was a cool concept to have. I enjoyed that. Yeah, I'll be honest. I understand it was from the perspective of these guys, like they're filmmakers, whatever. It gave me a bit of a headache with the camera rocking around all the time, and that I didn't. It was too amateur for me. That.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, and a lot of people said that at the time. You know, there was rumours of people being sick in cinemas and stuff, and that kind of helped get the movie a lot more cred as well. People thinking, oh my God, it's so scary that people are vomiting. But no, I think most of it was motion sickness because of the shaky camera, right?
Yeah, I mean, it probably didn't help that I was having a few beers last night while watching it as well, but...
Yeah. So there is some funny moments in this movie. I think you got to concede that. Often at Heather's expense. There's a funny bit for me where she gets her feet wet and they're just basically laughing at her. And she said, I think it's very cool that I get laughed at and my feet are going to be wet all day.
I think they were all going a bit mental at this point, weren't they? They were definitely all going a bit...
Yeah, but I don't think it's brilliant. I think she's got a proper sulk on, and yeah, I think maybe she asked for it, maybe she didn't, but that was just a funny moment for me.
It's like Heather, come on, grow up. You've just got wet feet there. Chill out.
It's funny. What about the interviews that they do with the townsfolk at the beginning? What did you think of the people that they interviewed?
I thought when they interviewed the two people by the river, that was a bit drawn out. That was a bit boring.
But how funny is the guy with the glasses?
Yeah, he's a bit of a nut job, isn't he?
It's just brilliant. Just again, the body language between them. He looks so gangly, and he's almost like a human embodiment of a stick insect in the most perfect, beautiful way in a checkered shirt. I love it. I thought he was great. I thought he was really good. And I also thought the woman Mary Brown with the Bible and the way that she described the Blair Witch, just her description of it. I remember when I first heard that. Is probably the most terrifying thing about the whole movie.
Yeah, that's quite cool. Like I was really into the film at this point. It's just when they got into the woods and that, it's just a bit tailed off for me. It was just,
Fair enough. Well, it was late at night and you had a few beers, so let's, maybe that has influenced your opinion slightly. Obviously, they built tension as the movie went on to a point where you start to see these piles of rocks and twigs and what have you. And do you think it was clever that they made something so innocuous as a pile of rocks start to become a little bit freaky and a little bit scary?
Yeah, well, I think the tiniest thing would become scary because you're losing it because you're lost in the forest. So yeah, I thought it was clever. Yeah, it was all right.
I got a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
If you could go camping and get lost in the woods with any two celebrities, who would you choose and why?
So Ricky Gervais, mainly for the humour. It'd perk you up when you're a bit down, wouldn't he?
Sure.
It'd make you laugh.
Sure.
And you'd need someone clever, someone who's going to get you out of there, wouldn't you? So Bear Grylls.
I'm loving the fact that you thought practically and thought, I'm going to get Bear in there just because you wanted to spoon with Bear and have a bit of Ricky Gervais love at the same time. Brilliant. Love it. How long would it take you to go feral, Joe, do you think, if you were out in the woods before you lost all sense of decorum that you obviously have now?
Honestly, I don't think it'd take me long. I reckon after 24 hours, I'll be gone.
You'd be a feral beast. Your clothes would be off. You'd be running around on all fours, swinging from the trees, making lots of noises, hanging out with the howler monkeys, right?
I think, I don't know. It depends on how cold it is, doesn't it? I mean, if it's cold, I'm not going to be getting the kit off.
No. You want to be free, but you don't want to be cold. I get it.
I don't think it's fair on Bear Grylls and Ricky Gervais to be seeing me butt naked. I mean, I don't want to be looking at them, butt naked. So you've got to respect the people you're with.
Yeah, you've got to respect them. But do you think they would stay with you, Joe? Do you think you'd be a key resource for them, or do you think they'd maybe go and set up camp elsewhere?
I would bring reason.
What would be your resource that you would bring to the table? You'd bring common sense, or?
I would bring common sense. I would bring reality. I would say, look, if they start drifting off task, I'll be the one to say, listen, get back on task, get looking at that map. Where are we going? Get us out of here. Next, let's go.
Inspiring words from an inspiring man. Thank you very much, Joseph. So moving on, back to the film. A few more bits that I want to cover off before we finish. A lot of people were so convinced by the Blair Witch marketing machine, even after seeing the movie, even after knowing that there is actors involved. People still believe that this movie was real, or at least based on real events. But of course, everything was designed, created, written by these two guys. Another thing that I thought was quite clever, they terrorized their actors from the darkness. The actors had no idea. There was no shooting script as such. They had character notes given to them regularly, but they didn't have a lot of interaction with the directors on a day-to-day basis. To make them more and more frustrated and more agitated, they reduced the amount of food they gave them on a daily basis. So they think they were living on energy bars and bananas, and they reduced the amount of food every day. So the more time that passed, the more the film went on, the more hangry they got. Do you get hangry?
I do get really crabby if I've not eaten. I'm horrendous, you know, and when I'm tired as well, the slightest thing sets me off. Like I was crabby the other day and I could feel a draft coming through my door. I was like, where's this draft coming from? I've got no windows open. And I went to check my letterbox outside, and someone had left the door open into the communal area. So there's no wonder there's a draft blowing through. So I slammed the door and I went, idiots that live in here don't even know how to shut a door, do they? And then waited for a response, didn't get one, and then retreated back to my flat.
Brilliant. Were you surprised you didn't get a response?
I think they know better than to respond to me.
Yeah, I think most people do.
I am the longest living resident in this block, so, you know, I call shot.
So do you live in the penthouse where you are currently?
Of course.
Good man.
Yeah.
So kind of like Dredd, you're the Ma at the top of peach trees.
If you will, yeah.
Speaking of peach trees, do you remember Peachy?
Oh my God, Peachy from the City Gate. Is he even alive still?
I don't know. Do you want to just tell people a little bit about Peachy?
So when I was working as when I was a manager at this pub in Norwich called the City Gate, there was a regular come in and his name was Peachy.
Do you mean when you were working as a waitress at a cocktail bar?
Unbelievable, aren't you?
Go on, carry on, go.
Anyway, so this guy called Peachy, he was a regular in the City Gate and he used to prop the bar up. He'd have a pint of the cheapest lager we had. I think it was Triple X. And he'd milk that pint for at least 4 hours. Can you imagine what a pint would be like after 4 hours?
Ooh, it'd be a little bit warm and a little bit flat, I imagine.
He did do me a favour because he let me kip on his sofa. And
did you stay on the sofa, Joe? Or did you at some point creep in and have a little spoon?
No, there was no spoon action. He was.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% positive.
Yeah, hopefully all is well with Peachy. And yeah, I hope he's well. It's nice to remember.
Yeah, nice to remember, isn't it? Yeah. Do you remember how I actually got the job in the City Gate?
I dread to think what you had to do to get the job, Joe.
Do you not remember?
No, remind me.
We were in the City Gate having a pint of Kronenberg each. Anyway, we drunk him and he went, you need to get the next round. I was like, yeah, no worries. And when I went to the bar, the guy went, oh, your mate was saying you're looking for work. Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, bar work.
Yes, I do. So there you go. Helped you out again,
so
didn't I? Always looking out for you, Joe. Always looking out for you. No, good times, man. Good times.
Oh, do you remember the time we'd been in Location Blue for a few pints and they kicked us out at like 11 o'clock, you know, that's it. We were like, no, we want to carry on drinking. I was like a key holder to the pub. So I opened the pub, got the decks on full blast and just carried on drinking.
Absolutely. Disco lights on, party for two. Yeah, that was amazing.
I think I was found out because there was a standard alarm code for the pub. After our little drinking session in there, everyone got their own personal alarm code so they know who took the alarm off.
I think that probably coupled with the CCTV where we're doing the worm down the length of the pub.
Yeah.
Probably not ideal. So just to bring us back onto subject, Joe. So back to conclude on the film. We're going to give it a comedy horrors rating in just a few seconds. In conclusion, the filmmakers and cast set out to explore the unknown, and in many ways they threw out the rule book for conventional horror movie production. The resulting movie will forever be remembered as the film that changed the way movies were marketed and ushered in a new subgenre of found footage. Now, 21 years on, we can look back at a time when mobile phones weren't omnipresent, when the internet was still very young, and when a small team of people proved that to be successful, all you need is a good idea and the right team behind you to help you realize your vision. What's your comedy or horrors rating, Joe, out of 8 for the Blair Witch Project, please?
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 8. It's higher than I thought I'd give just because of what a clever idea it is.
Good. No, I think that's cool. I'm glad that you've upped it a little bit. I'm going with a 6, giving it an average of 5.5, which I think is fair. It's one of those movies, because so much has come after it, that it hasn't aged as well as it looked the first time you saw it, but still it's a landmark movie and definitely worthy of a review. So that moves us nicely onto our track off of the week. Joe, What you got?
Okay, so this week it's a track by Bell and Sebastian. It's called The Boy with the Arab Strap. Enjoy.
With the boy from the Arab Strap.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Joe. So, The Boy with the Arab Strap-On by Bell and Sebastian.
No, The Boy with the Arab Strap. Do you know what sitcom this music was from?
I don't know what sitcom the Strap-On was from. Talk to me.
Teachers.
Sure. Fair enough. It's not a bad choice. I think I might have you beat this week, though. My song is from the horror movie Scream. Been used in a few movies, actually, but my song is Red Right Hand by Nick Cave. Enjoy.
Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it shifts and cracks. Where secrets lie in the border fires and the humming wires. Yeah, man, you know you're never coming back. Across the square, across the bridge, past the mills, past the stacks. On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.
So what do you think of that, Joe? Red Right Hand. Does that take you back to a simpler time when Scream came out?
I don't think there was ever a simple time in my life. I'm a very complex kind of guy. But yeah, it's a cool song, but I've got you beat because my song's better as usual. So next.
Okay, well, that's where the listener comes in. So if everyone can go and put out a vote. We're going to have a poll for all of them that we've done historically. So if you're joining us late, don't worry about it. This can be added to at any time. You can find us anywhere out there on social media, actually, Joe. Can't they?
Yeah, of course you can. We're on Instagram, Comedy Horrors. We're on Twitter, Comedy Horrors. If you go on Apple Podcasts, Comedy Horrors. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a pattern going on here.
Is it Comedy Horrors?
It's Comedy Horrors. And if you were on Twitter, for instance, and you wanted to find our page, what would you type in the search?
If I put in Comedy Horrors, then would that help?
That's it. That's the name of us, Comedy Horrors.
Fantastic. Okay, well, hopefully then it's pretty clear if anyone wants to get hold of us. We appreciate all the feedback that we get, guys, and thank you for those of you that are giving us that feedback, commenting, retweeting, liking photos, all that kind of stuff. Please keep it coming. Rate us on iTunes. We really appreciate it, and we will continue to deliver our content to you if you continue to like it.
Yeah, definitely. And I need to update you here. It's not iTunes anymore. It's called Apple Podcasts.
Thank you. Share my age again, Joe.
We won't talk about age because, as one of our listeners said, it's a sensitive subject for you.
Okay, Joe, it's that time again of the week where I will position you with a Would You Rather.
Do we have to?
Are you sitting comfortably?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you rather every time that you go to the toilet for 12 months, you get overwhelmed with emotion, you burst into tears, and you don't stop crying until you've eaten a cold tin of baked beans from the tin using a sausage as a spoon? That's option one for a whole year. Or for 6 months, every meal you eat is tinned pilchards. No other flavourings are allowed, just pure pilch. And after each meal, you have to rub the pilch oil into your hair and body and leave it there for a minimum of 1 hour every meal. What are you saying?
And I'm guessing I'm naked in these experiments as usual.
Clothes optional, actually, but you must rub the pilch oil everywhere, so you'll probably have to get undressed while you do that. But you can put clothes on again if you want.
See, the thing is, it's 12 months of eating cold beans with a sausage is a long time, isn't it?
It's a long time, and it's a lot of emotion, Joe. Like, literally any time. You know, you're at the pub, you go for a wee and you get overwhelmed. You have to come out, sit in the corner and cry until you've eaten your beans. It's a tough one.
I wouldn't sit in the corner because what I'd do is I'd always have a supply of beans with me. So when I go to the toilet, I'd have to go into a cubicle and then I'll just break down, eat my beans, and then go out and rejoin.
What if security came in, heard a weeping in the toilet and forcibly entered the room, saw you there with your pants around your ankles eating beans with a sausage? Surely that's going to raise some eyebrows. Might get you kicked out of a few places.
Nah, not at all, because I'd only start eating the beans once my pants are pulled up. So when he kicks the door down, I'd be like, all right, mate. And I'd be like...
All right, mate, sorry, I don't get out much. I'm a bit emotional. I needed to eat some beans. Perfectly normal, right?
Well... yeah, I mean, is there a law about taking cold beans into a pub?
No law. So is that your choice? You are saying no to pilchards?
I can't stand pilchards. That's not happening.
Fine. So beans it is.
Well, it's going to have to be, innit? Because I don't like pilchards and I can eat beans. So what do? Do I die?
It's option A, Joe. Clearly, that is the right choice.
I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. I mean, whatever.
Okay, so moving on. Now, before I do the final feature for the day, my weekly Ask Joe, you've got a new feature to introduce to the listeners, haven't you, Joe?
Yeah, it's called Who Is This? So you have to guess an actor, and all I'm going to do is give you the name, his character name from the films he's been in. I'm going to start off with the films that I think are less well known, and then you have to guess who this actor is.
I'm excited. Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, so I've gone in quite easy this week for the first one. This guy is an OAP, so big clue there for you, and he's appeared in over 150 films.
Okay, cool. Well, play along at home.
Okay, so the first character name is Valentine.
No, I'm going to need another one.
Okay, PK Highsmith.
No. Give me another one.
Neville Flynn.
Ooh, hit me again.
Ray Arnold.
Morgan Freeman.
No.
Hit me again.
Okay, this film he was the character in from a film from 2017, and his name was Darius Kincaid.
This is harder than I thought, Joe, but that's good. Now you've got me on the ropes. Darius.
Do you want a clue to who was in the film with him?
Yes.
Deadpool, what's his name? Ryan Reynolds.
Ben Kingsley.
Nope.
Oh.
Do you want the name of a film he's been in?
Yes.
So the name of the film he was in where he was Neville Flynn was Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson?
Dead right.
Oh, wow. That was pretty poor from my perspective, to be fair, but I just didn't even think of Samuel L. Jackson. I'll never think of him as an old man, but I guess he is, isn't he?
Well, do you know how old he is?
60?
No, he's 71. He was born on the 21st of December, 1948.
Samuel L. Jackson?
Samuel L. Jackson, yeah.
Wow.
First come to Provence in the early 90s. Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Well, you learn something new every day, and I like that feature, Joe. I feel that I've let myself and the listener down by not getting it sooner. Hopefully the guys out there got it quicker than I did, but yeah, bring that on. I'm happy to do that every week if you are happy to do another one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's good looking into some of the films these great actors have been into. Anyway, moving on.
Final feature then, Joe. It's my favourite and yours. Ask Joe. Philosophical question I pose to Joe every week. Sometimes a riddle, sometimes deeper than others. This week, Joe, very simple. Would you kill 3 people to save one?
No.
What if the 3 people were all evil and the one was a member of your family?
Oh, I know what you're doing. You're going down the Dexter line. Then, yeah, sure. I mean, if they're bastards, then, no one wants a bastard around, so just kill them.
So human life does have a weight?
Well, I think so, yeah. I mean, people out there that commit horrendous crimes, and they should be hung for it, really, but, and I think a lot of people would be with me on this.
Are you a believer of an eye for an eye?
I am a believer for an eye for an eye. No one would want my eyes because I'm as blind as a bat. But yeah.
So you think the same crime should be committed against the perpetrator of the crime?
Yeah, I think that'd be a fitting punishment for some of the heinous crimes people do these days.
Yeah, I'd go along with you, to be fair. I think depending on who those 3 people were, if it was a question of killing 3 terrorists to save you, then I might do that for you, Joe.
Might?
Well, it depends how much money was being offered as well, but, yeah, potentially.
Whoa. So this potentially now could be the last ever episode, because this hinges on what you say next.
Of course I would, Joe. You know that. I'd save you without hesitation.
Ooh, all right, well.
Would you save me?
Yeah, of course I would. So if we're back next week, then you know that peace has been made. Anyway, see you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe has left the building. And I thank you all once again for joining us this week. And we hope to see you again next week, hopefully, if Joe forgives me.
Yeah, well, I'm saying goodbye to the listeners because they've done nothing wrong, but I'm not saying goodbye to you. So, whatever.
Bye, Joe. Love you.